Going. Good evening. M.M Out here, over there, everywhere, all over the place. Once again, to talk about the events and the opportunities that are missed. Once again, I have the Apostle Leroy Scantlebury, he who ran in the last two general elections in the constituency of St. Peter. Welcome, Mr. Scantlebury. How are you doing, sir?
Doing great, Mr. Morris. Doing great.
Now, right off the bat, there was a deplorable situation within the last week or so, where an individual protested in Bridgetown because all of their security, their social security, was basically taken away, leaving them with about $47 net. I thought that was a ridiculous situation. And she is not the only one. She is the one that we know about.
Unfortunately.
So you know that there are others.
Yes.
And it forced the present government to renege. And they actually didn't fix the situation. They promised to fix the situation. But that goes to show, I'm quite sure the electorate has realized the folly of their ways by giving the present government all 30 seats. I'm sure they have ruled that decision, and they're still ruling it even as I speak. But although you have to wait 5 years, because they're going to do things without even consulting you, because you've been foolish enough to give them a mandate for 5 years and give them all 30 seats. So basically whatever you get, you deserve. But it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. That lady has set the tone for what can actually be done. And you don't have to be violent.
Non-violence.
You don't have to be violent.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
When Portia Simpson was Prime Minister of Jamaica, they wanted to pass a bill legalizing same-sex marriages. And obviously, with a majority, it would have been passed. But on that day, when that bill was to be debated, over 50,000 Jamaicans gathered outside Parliament in protest. And that bill never got off its feet. But Barbadians are kind of soft when it comes to those things. You're protesting about the bus fare. None of you have the guts to say we're not catching the public transport, period. Whatever happens, whatever hardship we have to endure, we're not paying $3.50. You guys are going to talk, but you're not going to do that. Because if you do that, you'll have to change it. So what's your take on that, into what I just said, that preamble about that lady?
Let me go back to what I said on previous sessions here with you, Mr. Morris. A quote from Thomas Jefferson. That quote is, when the government fears the people, there's liberty. When the people fear the government, there's tyranny.
And I repeat that. When the government fears the people, there is
liberty.
There's liberty. But when the people fear the government, there's tyranny.
And let me go on to conclude what I want to say about this. And I'm not really talking so much in terms of the election. That's to me, that is past. Now we have to deal with this. But the reality
you can't purr with spilled milk.
Yeah, the reality is very, very simple. And you made a very interesting point about having a monopoly and people having rule and doing things that they're not consulting the people. There are things, and I remember when this government first took office, it was almost daily, almost weekly, that there were press conferences on social media, carried live with thousands of individuals watching, with individuals commenting this, saying this is what we call leadership. Now this is leadership. Now all of a sudden, you're not seeing those press conferences. All of a sudden, you're seeing things being done without the public's knowledge. Besides this lady, and I'm going to come back to her, because in my capacity as a minister, this has affected so many people. So many people.
You're referring to that same room,
that entire situation.
Yes, so they said that she is the one that we know about.
Right. She's not the only person.
And it's become a martyr as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, so as I'm sitting here, I know of families where both husband and wife have been laid off by this government, and I know individuals who are now surviving on the little savings that they have. So it is a very serious issue, and I'm going to comment on this as to why it is happening, because in 25 years of both the Barbados Labour Party and the Democratic Labour Party, minimum wages in Barbados has not been raised. That is a serious issue. Now,
No, you mentioned about minimum wage. What would you say was minimum wage?
175.
I was told that it was 260 or something like that.
No, could never be 260. You're talking about per hour.
Per hour.
Per hour.
Okay.
Okay.
Because one of my subscribers who pointed that out to me.
No, it's not
So
260.
just mention
I
that.
just you need to double check that again.
Yeah.
But it has not been raised in 25 years.
In 25 years.
25 years. Okay. Going on into 20 years. So
okay.
let me just make this abundantly clear, Mr. Morris. There is a very strong system of poverty being played out in Barbados, which is what our people must open their eyes and realize. The system in Barbados is to keep black people down. Unfortunately, both of our governments align themselves with the syndicate in Barbados that is behind this. In order to keep your government, you keep certain people poor. Those are the people who will vote. Now, once they have voted and selected one or the other party, this syndicate goes into operation, taking control of the government and taking control of our people.
Regardless after the DLP or DLP,
Regardless,
that's what you're saying.
regardless. And it doesn't matter which government is in power, because they agree both sides. And so this is what is happening right now. A lot of what is going on in Barbados is due to IMF agreements. Okay? It is due to World Bank pressure. It is due to pressure coming from England as to why many times our governments never do things to help their people. And this is a very serious situation. I'm very happy that that lady, someone sent me the video. I was very happy that she was able to do that on her own without having,
as I said, she's like being a martyr.
without being pushed. But many times, you know, somebody has to be the test subject. Someone has
The
to
martyr.
be the
Yeah.
going forward to say to other individuals, you have to come out and do what is necessary to take your life back. Now, I was in Trinidad several years ago, and I was ministering at a church in Point 14, and the road was very horrible, even though that's the road that takes you to the Picture Lake. It was very horrible.
Where the best tower is supposed to be.
Where it's supposed to
and
be.
the road is in that
It's
is in this
horrible condition.
Imagine that.
And what happened on that road is that one of the taxi drivers, he actually went into one of those potholes, broke his suspension. Okay? The other taxi drivers blocked the road. They got together and blocked the road and made the government repair the guy's vehicle and the road. Okay? That's what we're talking about. I purpose, this is my own opinion, that those of our ancestors that actually blockaded the neutral building in the 1937 riots, I believe their spirits are dead. We need to resurrect their spirit. That we understand, if you are doing anything to block us from going forward, we will retaliate.
Actually, I think our friend Mr. Colin Jordan, who is in charge of Social Security, and that's it, the same thing falls under his banner, on his watch. I think it was him who made the announcement that they're going to deal with that. But man, it's just a promise, you know.
Well, again, you know, as they said here in Barbados, a promise is a comfort to a fool.
Yeah.
And what we need in Barbados, and I think this is where, again, we must understand as citizens, if it is not working in our favor, then you're not going to make any progress. And this is what we're seeing right now. And I've said this to you before. Because you do something to place Barbados on a certain standard or standing globally, it doesn't mean that it is something that moves your people forward. And this is what we're
you're
seeing.
always saying that.
And we're seeing things that may be moving Barbados forward in terms of global standing, but it's not much happening to move our people forward. Now, one of the other things that, as you said, about things being done without people knowing about it, is this idea of, relinquishing the need for visas for certain African territories.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is something that should have been brought to the public first before a decision was made on it. And again, you're seeing pressure. You're not seeing the fact that we need to operate as a government. We've seen all of those press conferences come to a sudden and abrupt end. Everybody is now doing whatever they want to do. And that spells danger for Barbados.
And what about this rubbing of shoulders that they had coming up to the elections and for the 5 years before the elections? And they said, even if you win the government, it will continue. Yeah. They stopped immediately.
Well,
there's no more rubbing of shoulders and going to the village anymore.
Many individuals are complaining that they're not seeing their elected candidate.
Well, I know for sure, as I said, I am near 6 Men's.
Right.
So I can talk about 6 Men's. Colin Jordan has not been seen in 6 Men's since the election.
Well,
since the election. And don't give me the excuse that he's busy because he's the minister. Colin Jordan has been doing nothing as a minister but talking. So that's not an excuse at all.
Well, I know you've been very strong in relation to his campaign and to what is happening, but the reality again, as I said, again, governments must work for Barbadians. The government is the servant of the people.
And not the other way around.
And not the other way around. Until Barbadians understand this, like this woman, and I'm very, 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 very happy with her approach, non-violent approach to get her message across.
Yes, she is going to be a symbol, right? And I very hope that, I mean, this may sound like a levity or something, but I think when they're giving out these awards that they give out Independence on, that she should get one.
Well,
yeah.
That's very interesting that you said that. But, I want to go back to my my statement about poverty being used as a weapon of mass destruction. Mr. Morris, as a study of history, there's no nuclear weapon. There's no atomic weapon. There's no gun that has destroyed, no chemical weapon that has destroyed more people than poverty.
Yes, I concur with that. And
it's being used in Barbados very, very effectively.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why people are dying. The level of stress that is in this country right now because of the level of poverty that has suddenly come to a great level. It's hurting our public, and our government is doing absolutely nothing about it.
We had a conversation sometime gone back where you mentioned that disharmony among the population affects the weather.
Yes, sir.
Remember that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that we've been having a drop. I don't know how many of you realize, but at this time of the year, it's never like this.
And I think I'll talk a little bit more about that on the next session.
Yes, when we come back.
I'll explain that.
Right?
Yes.
When we come back. This is something that he pointed out to me some time ago. Right? That and it has manifested itself to me.
Yes. Yeah.
Has manifested itself to me. However, we're at the end of part 1. But we shall be back very shortly to continue this very important conversation. Apostle, let's take a break.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.